Little Joni Mitchell starts off Wednesday. Man, things are looking nice out there actually. I'm kind of excited about this. We got growth. I've been filming shit out the ass all morning here, little clips. We got leaves coming in up on the big maples there. It's a cloudy day and it's going to rain today, which is actually good timing. I just mowed yesterday. They came and fertilized the lawn, as you saw a few minutes ago. It looks okay. I'm not really happy with it right now. All the leaves are still stuck out there. It's not growing like they are across the street. So hopefully this boost of what I would imagine to be 12-12-12 liquid fertilizer followed by rain, followed by sun in a couple days will be the perfect storm for some growth out there. So I'm looking forward to that. I am a pig, if you guys didn't know, and this is all the candy that's been sitting in my desk. And it's not done yet. I just emptied the bags out into my desk so I can stop by and have a little treat sometimes. But now I got to take this out to recycling, which now lives in the back of the house because my garage ain't not big enough. You know that smell of fertilizer? It's probably killing my brain cells every time I inhale it, but it's marvelous. Really, it just smells like spring. It's really a real synthetic kind of smell. I like it. But things are getting worse over here. Oh yeah. Something's leaking big times, and I don't even really want to drive this car because a little leak under pressure can turn into a real big leak real quick. And if I'm up on the highway going 80 miles an hour, 30 miles from here, and the radiator explodes, I've got issues. So I looked at the radiator. Did I even talk about this yesterday? Something's leaking coolant to the point where in the course of a week, the expansion tank has gone from just a little bit over full to, the light hasn't come on yet, but the little floater thing in the expansion tank is all the way down. So it's pretty bad. I've replaced the expansion tank and one of those hoses like last spring or fall, sometime in the last 18 months. So the expansion tank should be good, and whatever hose I did should be good. But I definitely want to get this figured out because the last time I had a bad leak like that, a lot of coolant went in to the air filter box, and I think some of it made it to the mass airflow meter because it screwed the mass airflow meter, and that's like $250 part, $250 sensor. So I don't want to jack that up again. That's nice and new. If I can find the time and motivation today, I'll go out there, jack the car up, pull the belly pan. I looked at the radiators online just to see out of curiosity what they were. I remembered the E39M5 radiator being around $600, which is ridiculous, and I think I'm way off with that. I think it's probably like $200. I bought a genuine BMW one like 2011, something like that, right after I got the M5 and had it installed, and that's been the same radiator that's been in there, and it's an OE part. So I would get the part number for the, and I guess it's different. For cars that have air conditioning, even though mine doesn't work, it has it. That has a different radiator, and automatics have different radiators than manuals. So I found the part number for a 10 of 01 manual car with AC, and then the genuine BMW is like $240, and then the male Bear is like $130 or $150, which Bear's the OE, right? Male or male Bear, that should be the exact same part. So if I do need a radiator, it's only 130 bucks. I would also, I definitely want to get under the car and see what it is. Maybe there's, Ken says there's hoses that run under the radiator. So I'll have to get under there and do some diagnosis, because that's certainly a problem right now. Another problem, this time on the M5, I'm getting a check engine light about every 2 weeks for codes B2 and B3. I looked those up and they're both CAT efficiency codes. So they've been, I think the term shadow codes, for probably 2 years now. You know, I check it once a year even if the light isn't on to see if there's anything stored, and I've seen both B2 and B3 in there for CAT efficiency bank 1, CAT efficiency bank 2. I was hoping it was the mass airflow or the oxygen sensors. So last year when the motor was rebuilt, all the exhaust was off, we just screwed new mass airflow sensors in, OE ones, well, Bosch from Amazon. And that has not fixed the problem. So we're looking at probably bad cats at this point. Car's got 195,000 miles. They were replaced under warranty in what I believe to be 2003 at about 30,000 miles. So they've got 165,000 miles on them, and I think that is what's largely responsible for all this crap at the back. Now the black is definitely just carbon. All E39 M5s blow carbon. If the engine were a little bit higher compression, I could make diamonds out of the exhaust. But I have a new dust that has been coming up for the last, I don't know, little while. And it should be in here because I haven't cleaned it. It's real fine. It's also kind of blackened from carbon, but it's also real coarse feeling. And I'm pretty sure that would be the honeycomb and the cat's probably disintegrating and blowing out the exhaust, but it's getting all over the car, which is really annoying. So new cats are like $3,500 for a set of new OE ones. I can do like cheap ass MagnaFlow cats, but Jeff tried those on his M5 and they lasted like 200 miles before the honeycomb came dislodged and was rattling like crazy. Race cats are about $3,500. Used OE cats, 100,000 miles, 15 years old, I can get from Adam in Maryland for like $350. Or when Jeff did the headers, he pulled his stock cats off, and he may have those available, may be willing to sell those for me for a very affordable price. Issue is, previous owner of his car ran some stuff over at some point, and like the casings are slightly damaged. I want to get a look at them. If they're like, I don't think they're crushed. I think probably just visual. But his car never had any CAT efficiency cuts. So now I got to deal with that. The problem's going to be getting them, and then I got to find somebody I trust to go in there and cut the old ones out and either clamp or weld the new ones in. So if you have any input on that, let me know. The thing that further complicates this is that I need this car to be able to pass both Ohio Summit County E-Check, which is a visual inspection of cats, and an OBD2 plug-in, so I can't just code it out. I don't want to hollow them out. I don't want to change the sound of the car. But I also need to be able to pass California smog check, which is much more stringent on things like catalytic converters. So I think welding in working OE cats is probably not only the best solution, but the cheapest solution. So I refilled the reservoir, and I've got the coolant at about 96 degrees right now, which is operating temperature for an M54 B30. We're right at 96 degrees and center, and we've got a lot of drippage, and I'm not really having much luck in determining where it's coming from. So the bottom of the radiator here is what's wet, but anywhere there's a leak, it's going to run to the bottom. That's how gravity works. So there could be a leak up top, it runs to the bottom. It's on this piece of trim that I had off and then put back on, but it looks like it's coming from the rear. So let me resituate myself here without getting too wet. The expansion tank is that right there. That's the level sensor here. These are tight. The little drain screw on the expansion tank and the radiator are tight. It's coming from here pretty quickly, as you can see. Look at that. All over my shirt. That could be a radiator leak, because the expansion tank and the fitment up there looks pretty dry. Actually, it's just dripping from this retainer bracket. Let's go back up under the hood. This is dry. Cap's on tightly. That's dry. Everything on the left side over here is nice and dry. That hasn't even been wet for quite a while. Now we've got some smokage. Oh, that might not be good. Let's check the temp. At 96 still. Not gonna hurt anything. I don't know. I don't want to spend 150 bucks on a radiator and all that labor putting it in and have that not be the problem, but that sure is what it's looking like to me. Alright, well, I ordered a radiator, so hopefully that's my problem. 160 bucks shipped from ECS. I didn't put the splash shields back on, they're a pain in the dick. You can see all the leaks. This is the frontmost splash shield. Totally dry over here. That's all just like oil. And then the coolant's been coming right here. So it's that corner. Then the back splash shield's really dirty. That's been dirty ever since I've had the car. I don't really know of a good way to clean that. I could put it in the yard and hose it off, but I don't want all that oil and stuff going into my grass. Let me know. I just went to the mower shop. I got the plugs and the filters for the equipment. I had to pull the cover off the BG85 to get to the plug because you can't put a socket on the plug. You've got to put an open-ended wrench on the end and do it that way. And I don't know torque specs for plugs, and I'm not torquing them, so hell. This trimmer I bought probably 2 or 3 years ago, still FS90R, and it had never been, I've never done anything to it, so I'm putting a new plug and filter, and I don't even know where. The filter's got to be in there, so yeah, good maintenance. And I'm also going to do some oil or some grease in the head because I haven't done that either, and it still makes it really easy. This is actually threaded. You just thread it in there and then squeeze it a whole bunch. Look at that old filter. It's like all oily and smashed down. Old plug wasn't horrible, but I've been having some trouble starting this one, so hopefully this stuff helps. So I couldn't find the vlogging camera earlier, but after whatever the hell the last clip was out in the garage messing around, probably, it got really windy, like crazy windy. There's a couple trees down in the neighborhood. One went down on the road downtown and everything got screwed up. And then it rained really hard, it hailed, all the spoutings were overflowing even though they're totally clean. They're not gummed up with any leaves or anything. It was just ridiculous deluge. And the creek in the backyard, if you guys can picture that, it's usually about 10-12 feet from the grass line. It's all the way up into the actual grass. So we got a ton of rain out of nowhere. It flooded the front sidewalk. Sump pump was working overtime. It was crazy. But Razvan and Sabrina came over. We hung out downstairs for a bit. It's now about 11:50 and it's time for bed. Tomorrow, I can't believe it, already is Thursday. So I'm probably gonna have lunch with Joe, the usual. I ordered the radiator, which I think I mentioned, the Bear. It's gonna come, I don't know, maybe tomorrow, maybe Friday, maybe Monday. Hopefully before the weekend. I've got these splash shield things. We gotta clean those up. And then put that back together. I did get the spark plug and that was the last clip probably. Spark plug, air cleaner, and grease in the trimmer head all done, and they start like first or second pull now. The trimmer always starts first pull. This thing was like fourth pull, and if you used it and it was warm, you know, then you don't have to choke it. A little bit of throttle, pull the cord, and it should fire. And it was hardest to start warm. So hopefully a new plug fixes that. Spark plugs are cheap, easy, and they don't last forever. They're not supposed to last forever. It's a wearable, easily replaceable part. So hopefully a fresh one lets that thing work better. So I'm going to bed. I'll talk to you guys on Thursday. Good night.